Welcome to our Tech Note segment this morning. Now, today is no ordinary day. We like to call it Friday or morning at NTV. Thanks to me, a number of times Mala is in my formation and she's saying, yes, it's Friday. But it's also Relationship Friday on our Tech Note segment. Now, when the weekend sets in, many relationships begin. Some might have been put on pause during the week, but now it's press play. And various reasons, there are many reasons from money, culture, and education that take center stage when it comes to the relationship. But this morning we are focusing on education, and we asked you earlier on our social media platforms, that is Twitter and Facebook at NTV Uganda, whether or not education level does really matter in a relationship. Now, your comments are quite interesting and we'll be getting into them in a bit, but for now let's have a conversation in studio. And today we are joined by someone who's going to be a relationship expert just for today, a relationship coach just for this morning. He is also a social critic, and you must have had him a number of times on your radio stations. Now, he is Mr. I'm putting Mr. Moses Rudende.
Thank you, please. Thank you, please. Hi.
Well done.
Good morning, Rita and Mala, and thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Yes.
Let's start with, does education really matter
No, let's
in a
start
relationship?
with, no. Let's start with relationship coach.
Just for this
I've
morning.
worn many hats, but this one.
Rudende, for this morning, you're a relationship coach.
Relationship coach.
Yes, and please embrace
Right.
it.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Does education matter?
Should education matter?
Yes. Or does it even matter?
In the situation that we have in Uganda, unique as it is, yes, it might matter when it comes to finding a job, especially with the need to have two income streams to support your home. But I don't think that education should have a bearing on a relationship. I think you should be intellectually compatible. Let me explain. Emotional intelligence and awareness is more important than book smarts. I'll ask you a question. I'm not going to assume anything, but I'm sure you've heard of or even dated guys who were really smart, could talk end on end about particular topics, but were just not aware. They couldn't read the signs. They were just a-holes, even if they were great guys, because they weren't emotionally intelligent. I think that that is what matters in a relationship. If you are emotionally intelligent, if you can understand your person, if you can empathize with their situation, but understand that, you know, okay, maybe today she needs space, maybe today I should ask her how she's doing. That, as opposed to book smarts, will get you further in a relationship.
Is there a problem where the lady is more educated and the man is not so educated compared to the lady? Is there a problem there?
There could be a problem there, and usually there is because of ego. You know how guys are. Ego. And it again comes back to emotional awareness. If she doesn't lord it over him and throw it in his face constantly that I'm a PhD and you're merely a diploma holder, if that is not used at any point in the relationship, I don't see why that relationship can't work.
Well, pretend if we're in a society that maybe you're going to walk in with your man and they're calling him Mr. and they're saying doctor because you hold this PhD.
Or maybe she's a medical doctor.
That, or she just has all these titles that have built up over the years. So should we say, please don't say them when I'm with him, because you know you're trying to make sure that
See,
his ego is not hurt in any way?
No, see, there's a difference with that. You have earned the right to be called doctor, right? Do you insist that your husband calls you doctor?
When you get home,
When
and
we're
you're
at
like,
home, do you call me doctor? Must you insist that I call you doctor at home? That's a whole different thing
But
altogether.
do you agree at some point it could affect the relationship, or pretty much, you know, affect how the man feels about himself? If the lady, every time whenever they're together, they go into a social, you know, place, a social, you know, outing, and people just keep on referring her to her title. Do you think that can affect the man ultimately, even if he's an emotionally intelligent gentleman?
Let me ask a question. What was the basis of the relationship? How did I approach you? Did I come to you as, oh, doctor, I would like to date you? Or did I come to meet you simply as a guy trying to know a girl?
Let's look at the two scenarios.
If I came to you as doctor, why should I have a problem with that? I know from the get-go that you're a doctor. But even if I approached you simply as a guy trying to know a girl, still, your professional life and your personal life, are they mutually exclusive or aren't they? If you answer that question, then you can get to the crux of the matter.
okay. Now, taking it to emotional intelligence that you do raise, a number of people will say we are in Africa, there's a way that we have been raised, that we don't really wear emotions on our sleeve. If ever you are emotional, well, she's just being a woman, they will say. But when you find a man that can't express himself emotionally, we are supposed to go with that.
True.
So let's look at the coin of emotional intelligence, if you say we shouldn't look at the education a bit, emotional intelligence, what should be what you look out for? The fact that he can empathize with you, or the fact that she can empathize with you, or the fact that he doesn't even feel anything?
Here's the thing. Emotional intelligence comes down to being aware. Understanding that my actions have bearing on you and they will cause a certain reaction from you. How do you respond to that reaction? If I am not selfish with the way that I treat you, with my expectations, then that relationship definitely will work. That's what I call emotional intelligence, being aware of your person. And empathy is really, really important because you understand the situation, see where they're coming from, and you try to relate with them on that level.
What if we don't relate?
Then you have a problem.
And then, can he change?
Try it with food. Let's see what happens.
I'm
a bigger proponent of that. Yes.
All right. And if at all you find out that you can perhaps change this person's education level along the way, is that something you could look at as well?
Why put them under that pressure?
No, you're like everything ticks, and it's more of emotional intelligence is a go, and maybe he just needs to learn a few more words and pronounce a few more things right, and all these things, so that the next time he's in this group of people he fits in. Because honestly, we have people. He
fits in with you.
Exactly.
And that's what matters. If you're taking him to fit in with your group of people, then he becomes a trophy. He ceases to be your guy.
I hope people are listening, please. I hope we're all listening.
Your guy is your guy when he's with you.
So when you date, when you decide that this relationship is going to happen, it should be just for the two of you.
It is. Ultimately, it is.
What about society?
I can't swear.
No, because we need to be real. Yes, the reaction that society has. A number of times, from social media, people feel that they need to be a part of your relationships because, well, you post them. You're up in them. Yes, so
this is true.
Where do you draw the line?
Let me ask a question. In hindsight, how many people have looked back and said, you know what, that was actually a good guy, but because I listened to everybody else, I lost a good man, I lost a good woman. You see, at the end of the day, it's the two of you in your own little world, and you make it work. Because societal pressure will make you lose everything, and when you realize, it'll be too late.
Rudenda, it's only now that things are changing. Just a few years ago, let's put it 5 or 10 years ago, men could actually not swear or do anything to marry a lady who is more educated than them. Only that now it's changing. So you'll find a very educated man, very exposed and stuff like that, but when he feels like it's time for him to settle down and find a woman, he goes back to the village to get a woman. Why is that changing now?
I think by and large the whole fragile masculinity thing, that dynamic is changing. And if you are, like for instance, say me, I have no problem with letting my wife do certain things or take lead on certain things, because I understand that at the end of the day she understands that I am a partner. All right? You don't have to lord it over somebody. When you're in a relationship, there's got to be equal footing. And that's really important, beyond the education level. Do you have wavelength? Do you understand each other? Do you understand it's a partnership and it's not merely one person loading it over the other? So that's changing a lot in this day and age. Like I said earlier in this conversation, the fact that we need 2 income streams means that you have to make certain allowances and compromises.
So what do you have to say about the men who still are not comfortable with marrying educated or exposed women? Then who still go back to the village to look for that auntie, doctor,
the one we grew up with.
Neighbor.
Which camera am I? Which camera?
Yes, you are.
Dude, join us in this millennium, please. What did she? Really?
But as you tell me about Dechi, let's talk about the career situation. Career women, the ones they feel, others ones, they can't wash, they can't do anything, and you mentioned it's a partnership. 2 income streams that are needed.
First, go back. Wash?
Yes,
why?
wash.
Wash what?
You didn't even wash it.
What that you can't wash yourself?
What you're saying is that the roles can be split. You can do it as well as much as he can do it.
I mean, at the end of the day, being a homemaker doesn't mean that you bend over and scrub the floors and scrub the windows and wash stuff. No. There's a whole different way to managing homes in this day and age. Right?
Please bring it down for someone.
A woman can have a career and still manage a home and build a home. It doesn't mean that she has to, be washing things. No, it doesn't. And besides, you have 2 arms and legs. Why don't you do it yourself? What were you doing before she came along? See your life.
But what would you say, besides emotional intelligence, 2 other things that someone needs to look out for in this whole, because you mentioned education, we've put it aside. What does someone need to look out for in a relationship as they select that partner? as they go into the weekend. Now they're going to start looking at the man and saying, does he fit, does he not, does she not? What do they need to look out for?
Well, of course, there are the obvious health concerns. Is there a history of haemophilia in the family, a history of madness, a history of cancer? Are they wanted on a random sex charge in Mukono? There's the things that you should look out for. But at the end of the day, like I said, if a person understands you, if there is wavelength, if you have similar interests, that in itself can be the basis of a relationship. One very important, guys, make sure that her birthday is before the day that you actually hook up.
Oh yes, they are.
Really?
No, but
That is expensive, my friend.
This is from experience. Let's first go back to a bit of why. Can't you just tell her this is all I have, and this is what we should go with?
You're trying to impress her when you start out.
That's the thing. And actually, you
have a certain attachment.
You mentioned something which is impress a number of times, and I want you to maybe say, if you agree, if you do not agree, that we have gotten into a society where people are out to impress.
Consumerism.
And they're not actually bring their best. They're trying to bring their best foot forward, but not being honest with the people they're choosing to date and say, okay, this is how much I have. This is all I have. I'm not going to go and get a loan to please you. And people trying to pretend to be what they're not.
Well, sadly, in this day and age, a lot of people don't date potential. All right, they don't date potential. But if you see a man with a plan, if you see that he is going somewhere, why not be with him? You see, there's that element that yes, there's certain things that you have to put in place, you know, to do to impress her, you know, to show her that, you know, I could be able to take care of you later on in life. But you don't have to go grand. Sometimes the smallest gestures have the deepest meaning.
Like good morning.
Yes.
Have you eaten?
Yo. A good morning text goes a long way.
Have you received one today? If you have not, you need to start thinking about that relationship.
You know, we are having social media feedback, and someone is saying, between me choosing between education and money, of course I'll go for the money.
Yes. Education, in this day and age, education doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have money. Job situations. I mean, 83% unemployment, how many guys are being churned out of the university and getting jobs?
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that they will have money if they're educated. So I see where they're coming from.
All right, so that's Nach Kayondo. We also have another comment interesting here. Moro Abdallah, he's saying, yes, it does. Low-educated persons tend to have etondo.
Yes, entondo, that is... Bad manners. For lack of a better word, bad manners.
Yeah, but social graces don't come from your education. Social graces comes back to how you were raised.
Thank you.
That you don't necessarily have to have an education for that. I mean, our grandmothers, some of our mothers weren't exactly the most educated people, but they were raised in a certain way that they had, you know, basic certain social graces. Yeah.
Interesting. Rita, what are people saying on your end?
Well, on my end, as it turns out, like you have said, Mala, it's not really about the education. There are other things like, of course, what she looks like.
What?
The physical appearance.
Why are you looking at me when you say
No, I'm just saying, of course, what she looks like. And I just wanted to see your facial expression to it, but you were quite... You played the card.
I'm wearing the coach hat. So,
do you have to say anything about it, the physical appearance?
Looks fade. It looks fade.
Yes.
Yeah. Be with a friend. Because when that is all stripped away, what else do you have? What do you have left?
Okay, as we come to a close, the last comment here, but of course we have close to 500 comments. Thank you so much for, you know, kind of soldiers on social media. Thank you so much. We have Yaba Nguru. He is a youth councillor in Nakawa. He says, yes, it definitely does matter. Education definitely does matter. So that's his view. It seems like many people are saying that it's okay, it's all right. We don't mind if we have an educated partner, which I think is a good thing. It shows that days are changing and people are, you know, embracing exposed ladies more.
Yes. So it's time for you, whoever that man out there, Rodende, would you like to tell that man or that woman? Because I know we're focusing on the man right now, but there's also the woman out there who's looking for, these days, our land friends, the lawyers. Hey. Is he a lawyer? Is he a doctor? You know, who you bring home, and for a number, there are other people.
Tell them. Take it to the Lord in prayer.
But thank you so much, Udende. You have surely filled in your relationship coach shoes quite well this morning.
My first time was fairly bloodless, so yeah, thank you.
Perhaps we'll have you another time.
Maybe.
As a relationship coach.
Let's see what else.
But that has been it. We were joined by Moses Rudende, who is a media personality, and we're asking you one simple question. Does the education level matter at all in a relationship? And to him, wavelength.
Yeah.
You need to be able to flow. with this
Intellectually
person.
compatible doesn't need to have education.
Yeah, and also emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So if you didn't get the morning text today, pay for your OTT, as you have mentioned. Pay the OTT.
Yeah, my daughter have come in. Pay your taxes.
And then the message will come in. But for now, we're going to be giving you a traffic update of what the roads look like in Bukoto this morning with Stephen Mbide. Good morning, Stephen. What do the roads look like in Bukoto this morning?
From these traffic lights, I've been always telling you about responsible usage of roads and why it is really important for road safety. Right here, just in front of the traffic lights, as you head towards the traffic lights of Chila Road Police Station, there is these road signs. One of them showing give way, another one no turning right and no parking. But as you can see on the images there on your screen, there is a breakdown vehicle that is parked right where there is a no parking road sign, and this is really too bad for you who is driving or coming from this other side of Ntinda, because this road sign shows that no one is supposed to park that side and give way for those who are going towards the other direction of the buildings. So if you are using the roads, please make sure that you pay attention to the road signs. But anyway, for you who is heading towards the Lugogo bypass, as you drive towards the petrol stations like Shell and opposite Total and then the housing facilities there, that's where you'll be delayed longer. But from these traffic lights, all clear. And if you know heading towards the Ginger Road through the Lugogo bypass, clear route for you heading and coming from the Ginger Road, as well as you coming from Kamochia or using the Old Chira Road coming towards these traffic lights. That Old Chira Road is the ghetto side for you who is well versed with Kamochia and Bukoto areas. And for you who is coming from Kisasi and areas beyond that side, like Kulambiro, using this turn around Bahai, just so that you'll be finding a long delay just at the turn leading you towards the northern bypass. That's where you'll be delayed longer. Between that turn and the traffic lights, you'll be losing there between 8 and 12 minutes of your waiting time. But as I told you, continuing towards the city, less congestion for now, as well as those heading towards the Ntinda side, there is less congestion. And for you coming from Ntinda, still less congestion as you drive towards these traffic lights of Bukoto, and the rest of the road heading towards the Chira Road Police Station will be just a drive, keep drive as you connect towards the Chira Road Police Station. But remember, it's also another 3 or 5 minutes wait at the traffic lights of Chira Road. This is the traffic and travel update coming to you live from Bukoto at the traffic lights, and I am Stephen Mbide with Helen Birabwa on the camera. I wish you a good day and safe journey if you're already on the road, or if you're planning to drive and hit the city center. Have a good day, and remember to stay tuned to Morning at NTV, because this is where we keep your life turned on, because this is NTV turning on your world. I'm out for now. Back to the studios for a short commercial break, and Morning at NTV will continue.
This week on NTV Sting Hot Steps, we are going